Sorry, I'm positioning our fireplace. Kind of what it is, right?
Man, that's exactly kind of what it is. We're hoping to have like an actual little fireplace right here. Because my wife gets cold when it's like, you're being so loud.
Sorry.
My wife gets cold when it's like 92 degrees outside.
It's kind of true.
But, alright, so we're about to have a little discussion.
Ow. I sat on the insulation.
Now give me a small one. The butt's not that big.
Laziness that.
That looks a little better. It looks a little more professional.
What does that do?
It links this camera with that camera.
What are we talking about today, love?
I really enjoy it when people kind of do like these couple talks or like these little series, one-on-one, but also gives you guys a lot of like insight or knowledge or answers a lot of your questions that you might have. So like, why not be kind of productive with it and give you guys some insight to who we are and what we're thinking. So the idea for this video was, what was it, like last June when we said that we were going to sell the FJ and get a school bus.
We're selling the FJ for multiple reasons.
With the FJ and her and I, it's just not big enough anymore. But now that we've got Milo, his car seat and all of his gear and his toys and stuff, they just take up a lot more space and it's not enough room for all of us anymore. We talked about getting like a 5-window school bus is what we were shooting for, either a 5 or 6-window school bus. And here we are with a 12-window school bus. We never really explained why. To kind of give you a little bit of insight, like what that means, we're talking about the length of the bus. Some of them have 4 windows, which is the shortest, kind of like vans. Some have 5, 6, 8, 9, 10. The max is 14, which is a 40-foot long school bus. And ours is 12 windows, which comes out to like 35 feet long. So yeah, just kind of like filling in that gap of why we decided to get a 35-foot long school bus.
For me, the reason why we chose a short bus in the beginning, because the short bus was essentially way bigger than our FJ, and we had made it traveling across the United States in the FJ of just the 2 of us. So adding Milo in with us, we were like, surely the short bus will be plenty of room.
Yeah, like
for
we don't
us.
need something that much bigger. I mean, I think the FJ was right at like 18 feet long. The short bus that we were looking for was like 24 to 25 feet long.
But like I said, I mean, we would have had a bathroom, bed, everything else like that, and a little kitchen nook section, but it still would have been bigger than what we were used to with the FJ.
Another reason why we decided to go a little bit longer is the original idea behind the school bus was just something to make it a little more comfortable for us to commute back between Philadelphia and Tennessee, and just kind of give us an extra place to lay our head as opposed to making that 800 miles, 900 mile trip in one day. It just kind of freed up a little more time to be able to stay a little bit longer or only do 5 hours a day, a couple hundred miles. So it was primarily just a like travel vehicle, and especially with Milo, like we want to have all our family kind of be accessible.
Because based off of what Caleb and I want our lives to be, if that actually gets to play out the way we really hope it does,
yeah,
it just made more sense for us to have a travel vehicle.
So in our case, because we're trying to work remotely and be able to bounce it back and forth to different areas,
we like to travel, and why not make it the most comfortable for us? And then I think the biggest reason for me, and it was actually kind of a random epiphany, we were driving from Philadelphia to Tennessee to celebrate my mom's 50th birthday. It was supposed to be literally like maybe a week, maybe 2-week visit, and then head back to Philadelphia. This was not planned at all, but it was just an epiphany. We were just talking back and forth of what
we think the future is going to hold, what we want the future to hold, what we're kind of shooting for the next 3 to 5 years.
How did we want the bus to mold to fit our lives? Is it going to be something that we basically flip, like use for a year or so and then sell and then establish a home base? You know, so much happened at that point. We were still had a huge grasp on what it was like to be on backroad purpose. A lot of that was pulling us towards the short bus, and that's why it was just a really quick answer. June, we were driving down to Tennessee. Milo was 7 months old, almost 8 months old. I remember sitting in the car and we were just talking about, oh, well, we'd want this to be something that would probably be like 3 to 5 years, you know, no more than when Milo starts school, essentially. And I was just like, wait, we will completely blow out of a short bus. And what if we get pregnant? Because we always wanted our children to be a certain age apart. And I was like, we are setting ourselves up for another bus renovation. And so I was just like, we're gonna be potty training, learning how to ride a bike, hopefully teaching them how to surf, all of these things. Like, longboarding. I mean, the kid's already jumped. I mean, he's not even 2 years old, and he's already jumping on a longboard. All of these things, where would we store that? And so all of these little moments, real life little moments, we started talking about out loud, and we realized, oh, we need a longer bus.
Yeah, I mean, it just went from the idea of having like a travel vehicle to something that in the reality of our day-to-day life, like we would actually just kind of morph into living in all the time. So like, yeah, we had that epiphany on the way back of, if we're gonna be in this thing all the time, like we're gonna need more space. We're gonna want more space to kind of like relax and chill and like actually be able to cook a full-size meal with an oven and not just one burner.
And he edits videos. Where would he do that inside the bus? If it's raining outside with Milo, if he's in, you know, a grumpy mood or something like that, that won't always work. So it was just kind of like,
we needed more space.
We needed more space.
And it's just more convenient. So we were really shooting for like somewhere around like 30 feet. Those buses are just kind of like really hard to come by.
Yeah.
And we didn't want to go to a full size, and for a couple of reasons. One, like we were just intimidating driving a full size school bus.
We're intimidated during this, let's be real.
And so we actually just kind of stumbled upon this one, and it was 35 feet. I read like a statistic, and I think it said if it's 25 feet long, you can get into like 94% of places. If it's 30 feet long, you can get into like 88% of places. I think if it was 35 feet long, you could get into like 66% of places or something like that.
Yeah.
But if it was 40 feet or longer, you can only get into like 25% of places. So that gap between 35 feet and 40 feet was a lot less accessible to the places that we will probably end up going, which would be like national parks, state forest, just because the length isn't accommodated by those tiny roads. So 35 feet was kind of like the max that we really wanted to go, even though that 5 feet isn't much of a difference when you're talking about how long it actually is. Just rules and regulations kind of limit you for anything more than 40 feet.
So we had it narrowed down to 2 buses. It was 30 feet and 35 feet. We literally measured it out on the driveway before. When we did that, we both, wouldn't you agree? Like we were both set on 30 feet.
Yeah,
we
I thought 30 feet was like plenty big.
We've got it. And then he calls me and he's like, we're going with the 35. And I was like, oh my gosh, okay. And then he pulls this thing in, and you can only mentally prepare for that so much. But now, fast forward, almost a year later, there are some days where I'm just like, why didn't we go full size?
Yeah, we should have went full size.
We should have just done it. That short bus would have 100% been way too short for us.
Yeah, especially, I mean, just for like what we're gonna use it on the day to day. So the reason we decided to go with the actual school bus as opposed to like renovating an RV, which would have probably been a lot easier.
I don't know if it's easier. There's just a lot more how-tos. Like straightforward how-tos, not option how-tos.
And I guess I'm talking more about like there's already like a foundation built. Like with the school bus, like you actually have to convert it into an RV. Like you have to do the installation, you got to do the wiring, you got to get rid of all the seats. Like if you do an RV, you just have to basically get rid of the old stuff and put in the new stuff.
Yeah, like it's already got the electrical, plumbing hookups, all that other stuff.
It's got the tanks already hooked up, the water supply.
That's true.
So an RV, like renovating an RV would have definitely been probably more convenient for like the conversion process or like making it ours. But we just didn't really want an RV. And for the price that you can find like a used RV for, wasn't really as a cost effective that we like saw value in. We toured RVs, a ton of RVs, partly for inspiration. Every single time I walked in, I just felt insecure. It just felt like... Is that the word? Like just not really, like every time I moved or walked or anything else like that, there was just this instability. Yeah, I mean, nothing felt like sound, nothing felt solid. Like with all this, like this is all real wood, like solid metal, like we've got nice thick insulation, like it's all gonna be like high quality stuff. And like when you walk into an RV, you can like physically push down on the counters and like feel that pliability, or you tap on the walls, you can hear it's kind of hollow, like nothing just feels sound. And they're known for leaking. Like I said, renovating an RV would have been a lot easier, but with the school bus, we really like the fact that like it's got a nice safe show, like and then a lot of people... I'm sorry, there's a spider. Can we get it? It's on top of the door. It's on the top of the door. It's right there. He's crawling. I can't see any of that. Honey, it's going towards the circle thing. Oh, that tiny one? It's not, it's like... I know, but it's just the only thing I'm going to be able to focus on. Can we purchase a pest control for a bus? And we really like the school buses because it's like really like up to us to do exactly what we want with it that suits our lives. And that's exactly what we're doing. We're getting as many gallons of fresh water as we need. We're doing a composting toilet. We're kind of designing the layout that fits our needs specifically. We built this couch that's the dimensions of us laying down. Everything is customizable to fit our day-to-day life.
And with the budget we were working with, when we compared, we just found that we could get more bang from the buck for buying a used bus versus a used RV and renovating a used bus versus renovating a used RV.
So we bought this bus for $4,000, which is a little bit more than I wanted to spend. If we were to do an RV, we would have probably spent somewhere like between $9,000 to $11,000 for an RV, and then probably $5,000 to $8,000 in the renovation. And with this bus, we're going to be somewhere around the lines of like hopefully 12 to 15 grand, trying to be as close to 12 as possible. I think we're going to be really realistic with hitting that. And with that being said, like this is going to be all real wood, all nice insulation, all real stuff. So it's gonna feel sound when you walk in. And then with the school bus length itself, like we wanted to go with a flat nose school bus because at 35 feet long, the front of the windshield to the back of the doghouse, you only lose like 5 feet. With the conventional style like dog nose, from the front of the bus to basically where you can start building, you're gonna lose 7 feet. So the bus at 35 feet long, we have 30 feet interior space that we can like really utilize. With dog nose, we'd have 28 feet, so we lose 2 feet.
Which, when we talked about it, and I know, especially if you have not bought a school bus and you're not living tiny, you're like 2 feet, really. That's your determining factor. And we honestly joked about it too, but now we're nitpicking inches, people.
Yeah, literally.
Inches.
I mean, think about it, 2 feet.
It can be a big deal when it comes to tiny living.
Yeah, I mean, 2 feet is actually like our bathroom. I think our bathroom is right at 26 inches wide.
Give or take.
So we would have basically lost a bathroom if we went dog nose. Right. That stuff really adds up.
Oh my God, you're right. Ooh, that's crazy. That's a...
If you put it into perspective, like laying everything out, like those inches and feet really matter. So
as of right now, the plan is to make this bus last for years and years and years to come. And you know, it's a big personal project for us, I think.
Yeah, and it just suits our day-to-day life. I mean, like we said before, I mean, the goal is to use this for the next 3 to 5 years.
Full time.
Yeah, full time. And after that point, we'll either continue to live out of it, or we'll just park it and kind of like use it when we need it, or sell it for a nice price and then build another one.
Maybe. One of my biggest hobbies is interior design, and do tend to just fall in love with the places I really design.
But she always designs new stuff anyways and gets better and better each time. So, but yeah, if you guys have any other questions,
let us know.
Let us know. We'll try to answer as many as possible. We have a lot of kind of knowledge about this stuff now after doing tons and tons of research. Even though I've watched a ton of videos about it, I'm trying to fill in all those gray areas, the stuff that's not quite, that I just couldn't get clarity on myself.
Or things that like we thought everybody knew, but you don't know. Honestly, the personal questions too, please don't hold back, just because this by no means has been easy mentally either. So, you know, we want to be real with you guys on what that actually looks like, and sometimes having you guys ask us those questions can help pull that out, whereas sometimes we just assume you guys know more than we think. Anything that involves the mental or physical process of this bus, ask us, because sometimes we just assume, or we don't know how to explain. So sometimes those questions can help direct us in what we need to explain to you guys.
Yeah, so I appreciate you guys watching. Like it if you like it. Dislike it if you don't, and if you could subscribe, we'd really appreciate it. And yeah, we'll do this again.